It was a quiet morning when Emeka and Obi began their journey. They were proud hunters, sure of their strength. The forest was their home, the footsteps light and fearless. The sun shone gently and the wind carried their laughter. They believed nothing inside those woods would ever harm them. Then they saw it, an antelope with golden horns gliding between the trees. Its body shimmered like sunlight on water. Emeka grinned and whispered, "We must catch it." Without thinking, they chased the antelope. The antelope ran fast, leading them deeper into the forest. The air grew thick, shadows lightened, and the forest swallowed their voices. They ran until their leg ached, but the antelope vanished into the forest. The path behind them was gone. Roots twisted across the ground like snakes, and the strange mist rolled low. Obi looked around, panting. "Emeka, I don't know this place," he said softly. His voice trembled. The forest was suddenly unfamiliar, watching them silently. Emeka forced a smile. "We will find our way. Don't act like a child." But his voice shook a little. The laughter from earlier was gone. Every sound seemed distant, swallowed by leaves. The sun faded behind thick clouds. For the first time, both men felt the forest breathing around them. Darkness came fast, covering the forest like a heavy blanket. Emeka and Obi shivered under the tall trees, their breath white and shaky. Hunger grew at their stomach and fear at their hearts. They sat close together, pretending not to be afraid, too dark and alive. Then, Obi saw it, a flicker of light between the trees. "Look," he whispered, pointing. A faint glow moved slowly, like a fire dancing in the distance. Emeka squatted through the mist. "It looked like someone's home," he said softly. Hope flickered in their eyes for the first time that night. They followed the light, pushing through the thick branches that scratched their arms. The ground was wet, roots twisting under their feet. The glow grew brighter as they drew nearer. Their hearts beat fast, unsure it was a safety place or danger. Every rock stood behind them made them glance back, whispering silent prayers. Finally, they reached a clearing. A small hut stood there, made of mud and leaves, smoke coiling gently from the roof. An old woman stood at the doorway, silent, watching them. Her eyes glowed faintly in the firelight. Emeka stepped forward. "We are lost, Mama," he said. "Please help us." Inside, the hut felt warm. The fire cracked softly, filling the air with wood smoke. The woman finally spoke, her voice warm and calm. "My name is Adaku," she said. "Rest in morning." Emeka smiled and thankful. Obi bowed politely, but kept his eyes low, uneasy about her steady stare. Adaku's smile looked kind, but her eyes didn't match. They glimmered sharply, like something hiding under a calm water. Emeka didn't notice it. He was too tired to care, but Obi felt it, the weight of her gaze, the strange rhyme of her words. Something about her didn't belong to this world. Adaku placed 2 bowls of soup before them. Steam rose, carrying a smell that was both sweet and bitter. "Eat," she said gently. "The forest has taken your strength." Emeka started eating fast, graceful and warm. Obi hesitated, sniffing the soup first. It smelled strange, but his hunger warmed. Then, he began eating slowly. Adaku watched them silently, her chin resting on her hands. The firelight danced across her face, but her shadow did not move. Her faint smile stayed as the hunters swallowed every spoon. Outside, the wind shifted gently, carrying whispers through the leaves, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. After eating, Emeka yawned. His eyes felt heavy, his hands weak. Obi rubbed his forehead, trying to stay awake. The warmth from the fire spread through their bodies, but it was too strong, almost unnatural. Something is not right, Obi murmured. The wall spun around them. The hole seemed larger. The fire was too bright. Obi tried to stand, but his knees folded under him. He reached for Emeka, but the air felt thick like water. Their breaths grew shallow. "Emeka," he whispered, "I can't feel my hands anymore." Emeka's eyes rolled back. He struggled to speak, but his tongue felt heavy. His lips numbed. They both collapsed onto the ground, twisting weakly. Adaku didn't move. She stood beside them, silent and still. Her shadow stretched long across the wall, growing darker with every flicker of the fire. The last thing Obi saw was her face changing. Her skin glowed faintly. Her eyes light like burning oil. Her mouth moved, whispering words too old for them to understand. Then everything went black. The only sound left in the hut was the quiet crack of a dying fire. They woke up screaming, their bodies twisted in fire and pain. Emeka's arm bent backwards, bones cracking like dry stick. Obi's back ached, his breath breaking into sobs. They tried to crawl, but their skin rippled, burning hot. Every inch of their flesh rebelled, reshaping into something monstrous and strange. Emeka's hands melted into clouds. Obi's spine cracked, winds tearing through his skin. Blood spattered on the dirty floor, feathers pushing out where the flesh used to be. Their mouths opened to scream, but only broken cries escaped. The pain didn't stop there. It grew larger, spreading like fire through their bones. They tried to shout for help, but no human sound came out. Obi clung at the ground, tears streaming down his feathered face. Emeka turned towards the witch, his eyes filled with pleading. Adaku only smiled, calm and cruel, as if she had been waiting for this transformation to finish. When the scream softened into hoarse cries, Adaku stepped closer. "You chased my spirit away," she said. "Now you belong to me." Her voice slid like smoke through the room. The fire dimmed, shadows deepened, and the witch's smile shone brighter than the pain that had remained them. When the pain ended, silence filled the hut. Emeka blinked, confused. His hand was gone. Only winds remained. Obi's breath came in short, shaking bursts. They looked at each other, horrified, their eyes still human but trapped behind feathers. Adaku stood over them, holding a small glowing gourd. She whispered strange words into the gourd. Instantly, their wings spread wide without their way. Their bodies moved like puppets pulled by invisible strings. Inside, they screamed for control, but their feathers obeyed her command. The witch's voice echoed softly, "You are mine now, forever." Adaku raised the god again and said, "Find the one called Ngozi. Bring her blood to me." The air turned cold, thick with evil. They tried to resist, their hearts breaking, but her words dragged them towards the open night. The witch's power ruled over every movement they made. They rose into the dark sky, crying like lost souls. Below them, the villagers slept peaceful and unaware. They saw their own homes, small fires glowing softly, but couldn't stop. The witch's voice followed them, whispering through the winds, guiding them towards the innocent girl waiting by the stream. Ngozi was kneeling by the stream, her basket half full of herbs. The rain had stopped, but the air felt strange. She hummed softly, not knowing the dark two-shape circle above her. The night grew heavy, and even the water seemed to hold its breath. A rush of wind cut through the air. Ngozi looked up, eyes wide with shock. Before she could run, the vultures dropped like shadows. Their clothes tore through her dress. She screamed, calling for help, but the forest swallowed her voice. No echo, only the silence could answer her. Inside the vultures, Emeka and Obi fought for control. Their hearts cried out for horror as the bodies obeyed the witch's commands. They tried to stop, but their wings and claws moved faster than they thought. Every strike burned like punishment. Every scream reminded them they were no longer humans. When it was over, Ngozi's body lay still by the river. The vultures stepped back, trembling. Their feathers were wet with blood. Adaku's laughter echoed inside their heads, deep and cruel. "Good," she said. "You have served me well." The night closed in, swallowing what remained of their souls. By early morning, the village was restless. People gathered near the stream, whispering in frightened voices. They found Ngozi's body and her basket near the stream. Her mother's cries filled the air, heavy like clouds above. The elders stood in silence, sensing something dark had crossed into their land. Children were kept inside. Men no longer hunted past the river. Even the birds avoided the sky. The chief called a meeting, but no one dared to speak first. It was as if fear itself sat among them, waiting for someone foolish enough to mention her name loud. Mama Ngozi wept before the shrine, her tears mixing with dust. "Who took my child?" she cried, but only the wind could answer her, carrying her voice toward the forest. Some said they saw two black vultures circling above. Others swore the birds were watching, waiting as if they are guarding a secret. That night, fires burned longer than usual. Doors were locked, prayers were whispered, even laughter felt dangerous. Deep in the forest, the vultures perched on a tree, watching the light of the village flicker. In their dark eyes, a faint spark of human sorrow still glowed, fighting, fading, and dying. Deep in the forest, Adaku stood before her boiling pot, stirring the thick black water inside. The smoke coiled around her like living hands. The faces of hunters shimmered in the pot, half man, half bird. She smiled faintly. "Your hunt had only just begun," she whispered into the dark. She raised her staff and spoke words other than memory. The vultures trembled into the branches above. "Serve me," she said. "You may walk as human again. Refuse, and rot with the dead you have slain." Her voice carried through the forest like wind through dry bones. Inside their feathers bodies, Emeka and Obi cried out. They remembered their mothers, their haunts, the laughter around the fire, but their voices could not rise above the witch's spell. "Please," Obi whispered inside his own mind, "let us go." But only silence could answer him. Only hunger to hunt remained for him. Adaku looked up at the moon, her eyes gleaming in red color. "Soon the village will bow at me," she said. She dropped a feather into the pot, and it hissed like flesh meeting the fire. The vultures screamed, and their wings spread wide, carrying their pain into the endless listening night. Days passed, and the village noticed something strange. Emeka and Obi had not returned from the forest. Their families waited by the gates, eyes searching every path. At sunset, the chief sent men to look for them. None wanted to go deep. Everyone heard what happened to Ngozi. The sad party moved quietly. They found footprints, then feathers, black ones, heavy and sharp like blades. The ground was scattered with broken spears. "This is not right," one whispered. The forest felt alive, watching them. Even the trees seemed to bend closer to hear their fear. One of the men, Udo, picked up a torn piece of cloth. It was Obi's own. He fell to his knees, shaking his head. "No," he said softly. "Not both of them." The others wanted to comfort him, but their voices refused to come. They knew something beyond human had taken them. When they finally returned, the village went silent. No one spoke of what they found. The elders warned everyone to stay indoors after sunset. Fires burnt low that night, and prayers filled the air. But in the distance, two dark vultures circled above, crying like men lost in the wind. The air changed before the vultures came back. The evening breeze turned still. Children pointed to the sky, whispering. Two large black shapes circled above the market. Their wings cast shadows that moved slowly over faces filled with fear and wonder. An old woman spotted at them and gasped. "Those are not ordinary birds," she said. "Look at their eyes." And indeed, the vulture's eyes glowed faintly red, almost like human. The villagers watched in silence as the birds hovered over the shrine, crying in a voice that sounded too much like mourning. Mama Obi fell to her knees. "My son," she whispered, tears streaming down her eyes. She stretched her hands towards the sky, trembling. The others stepped back, afraid but unable to look away. They didn't know whether to pray or to run. The cries of the vultures felt like old memories glowing at their hearts. When the vultures finally flew away, a feather dropped into the dust. The chief picked it up carefully. It was warm, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. "They want to tell us something," he said, but no one answered. The wind carried the feather towards the forest, where the whispers are waiting. That night, the chief could not sleep. The wind pressed against his heart, whispering like voices he couldn't understand. He lay awake, staring at the small flame beside him. His heart was heavy with questions about the missing hunters, the dead gear, and the two vultures that cried like humans. When he finally slept, he had a dream. In his dream, he saw the forest burning. From the fire rose a woman with long grey hair and black eyes. She carried a clay pot filled with smoke and blood. "You have angered the spirits," he said. "Your hunters crossed the border between life and hunger." The chief tried to speak, but his voice would not come. He saw the faces of Emeka and Obi inside the pot, their eyes begging, their mouths moved without sound. "How can I free them?" he asked in his heart. But the woman only turned away, her voice echoing, "The debt must be paid." He woke up gasping. The hut was cold. The fire had died, but the smell of smoke lingered in the air, as if the drink had followed him into waking. He looked towards the forest and whispered, "What have we done?" Outside, a vulture cried out at once, then went silent. At sunrise, the chief gathered the elders under the oak tree. Their eyes were tired. His voice was weak. "The spirits are angry," he said. "We must make peace." The people listened in silence. Even the birds refused to sing that morning. Everyone knew something precious would be demanded. They brought yam, oil, and goat's blood to the shrine, laying them at the feet of the calf idol. The air grew thick, hot, and still. Then the flame in the clay pot flickered green. A low whisper rose from the earth itself. "Blood for blood, life for life. The debt must be paid." Women began to cry. Men looked away. No one wanted to ask who would pay. Then Mama Ngozi stepped forward, her wrapper wet with tears. "Take me," she said softly. "Let my daughter rest." Her courage filled the space with silence. Even the chief bowed his head, unable to speak. They led her into the river, where the mist coiled around her feet. The sky darkened as she knelt. The wind carried her last prayer into the trees. When she was gone, the forest sang, long, deep, and sorrowful. Somewhere above, two vultures circled once. They vanished into the clouds. That night, no fire burnt in the village. The air was heavy, full of loss. Children slept close to their mothers, afraid of the dark. Even the crickets were silent. The chief sat alone by the shrine, holding Mama Ngozi's beads. The world felt smaller, quieter, and heartbroken. Then came a sound, faint winds flapping in the distance. The men looked up, hearts pounding. Two black shapes moved across the moon. The vultures, they circled above the shrine, slow and careful, as if searching for something left behind. No one dared to move. Old Dike whispered, "They are watching her soul rise." His words carried through the night like wind through the leaves. Some villagers wept quietly. Others bowed their heads. Their fear faded for a moment, replaced by sorrow. The vultures were no longer monsters. They were mourners too, When the moon sank behind the hills, the birds flew east, towards the forest. Their shadow faded into them. For the first time in many moons, the village slept without fear. The wind was gentle again. It sounded like a voice saying, "Rest now, the curse is broken." Many seasons passed, and the village healed. The forest grew quiet again, full of new life. Children played near the stream where Ngozi once gathered herbs. The air no longer carried fear, only the smell of earth and rain. The people spoke gently of the past, not in anger but in memory. Every evening, two vultures perched on the same old tree. They never moved far, never caused harm. Some said they guarded the village, others said they were still searching for peace. No one chased them away. Instead, they lay food under the tree, whispering prayers of thanks. The elders often told the story to the younger generations. Pride blinds the heart, but respect keeps it open. The fire would crack, and their voices would tremble as they spoke of Emeka, Obi, and Mama Ngozi. The children listened wide-eyed, learning that even the strongest must walk gently in the world. When the wind passed through the trees, it carried a sound like winds. People would smile and say, "They are still there, watching." The forest remained sacred, the village at peace, and so on. The story lived on, soft as prayer, strong as love, forever teaching those who listened. Remember this: every choice we made in silence can echo for generations. The forest is not always the danger. Sometimes the danger lives inside us. Respect is stronger than bravery, and kind must walk with wisdom, or it can destroy what it tries to save. Now, I ask you, when you are faced with temptation, will you listen to your danger or your spirit? If comfort comes too easily, will you question it or fall into its arms? Would you have chased the golden antelope knowing it might cost you your life? Thank you for walking this path with me tonight, for listening to a story carried by wind, whispered through time. Stories like this are not just for fear, they are for truth, to remind us to walk gently and to never lose respect for what we cannot see. The vultures have found their peace, but their lesson remains. Every choice has a shadow, and every heart has a path to follow. Carry this story with you. Let it remind you that humility and courage must live together. And if this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Join me again by the fire for more texts that speak softly but stay in your heart forever. Your support helps keep these old stories alive, one voice at a time. Until we meet again, may your dreams always be the best. Goodbye.